Many of the mere footballing mortals among us enjoy playing fantasy football as it gives us the opportunity to pick a dream team full of Premier League players and watch them go into battle every weekend. This season, Chelsea manager Graham Potter is also playing fantasy football, but with one crucial difference: he's playing it without a financial budget. Managers are given a generous virtual budget of £100 million in the Fantasy Premier League version of the game, but Chelsea have blown that out of the water this season, thanks to the billions of their mega-rich new American owner, Todd Boehly. If you thought their spending under Roman Abramovich was extravagant, this new era has blown it out of the water, as they spent just under £600 million on 17 new players over the 2022-23 season, right under the noses of the financial fair play authorities. So, who are the new boys that have cost the new owner so much of his hard-earned cash? The first signing under this new fantasy football regime was a huge one, as multiple Premier League winner Raheem Sterling swapped Sky Blue for Royal Blue when leaving Manchester City for Chelsea for a fee of £47.5 million at the start of the summer. Highly rated Napoli centre-back Kalidou Koulibaly then joined for £33 million 3 days later. Despite costing a combined $80 million, neither of the two stars make Chelsea's strongest starting 11 anymore. Goalkeeper Gabriel Schwanina quickly followed in August for $8 million, swiftly followed by youth prospect Carney Chukwuemeka for $20 million. Potter then splashed out further on the defence, bringing fellow former Brighton man Marc Cucurella in for a huge $57.5 million, before spending even more on Leicester's Wesley Fofana, an estimated $70 million. The signings of Cesar Casadei, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and a loan fee for Denis Zakaria took the summer spending total to a tidy £262 million. And they weren't done there. The January transfer window opened and Chelsea immediately swooped for 20-year-old Ivorian striker David Datro Fofana for $10 million. Followed quickly by 21-year-old French defender Benoit Badiashile for $33 million and teenage Brazilian prospect Andre Santos for $11 million. Exciting Portuguese prospect João Felix then arrived on a pricey loan, just under $10 million, before being handed a straight red card for a horror tackle against Fulham at Craven Cottage on his debut. Better things to come from the Portugal star, you would hope. And then the really big bucks came out once more. Ukrainian star Mikhailo Mudryk spent weeks and weeks flirting with league leaders Arsenal, angling for a move to the potential Premier League champions with a series of suggested social media posts. As that prospective deal continued to falter, the Blues saw their chance and swooped in to snatch Mudryk under the noses of their London rivals, shelling out a cool $62 million to clinch one of the most sought-after signatures in European football. Nonu Madueke then joined for $30 million from PSV, as well as Malo Gusto from Lyon, before Chelsea completed their season's business with the biggest deal of them all, breaking the British transfer record to bring Argentinian World Cup winner Enzo Fernandez from Benfica. The Portuguese giants originally stood firm, stating they wouldn't be selling their star midfield at any cost. However, the big bucks of big spenders Chelsea were too much for Benfica to resist, and they eventually agreed to part ways with their world champion for a massive fee of £106 million. Boehly and Potter's shopping spree has dwarfed the fees spent by their Premier League rivals, even the oil-rich wealths of Manchester City and Newcastle United. Second place in this season's spending table belongs to a fellow American-owned club in Manchester United, who spent a more than credible £250 million in 2022-23, largely thanks to their acquisitions and Brazilian duo Antony and Casemiro. Despite the fact United have splashed the cash, they still spent more than $300 million less than Chelsea. West Ham and Arsenal's season spend hit the $170 million mark, while Manchester City and Liverpool are miles behind on the spending front, having only parted with $133 and $121 million respectively. City have their own financial worries now, however. Unlike Abramovich's first shopping spree in England, Boehly's billions haven't brought instant on-field success to Chelsea, and they find themselves languishing below the European spots in the table. The game after the close of the January window saw record buy Fernandez make his debut, but even he couldn't provide the spark as the Blues played out an uninspiring 0-0 draw with local rivals Fulham. Chelsea finished third last season under Thomas Tuchel before the spending spree, comfortably qualifying for this season's Champions League. Despite the financial backing this time around, it looks unlikely that we'll see a repeat of that performance in 2023. The big question is, how have Chelsea avoided the clutches of the financial fair play authorities? FFP was introduced by UEFA in 2009 to, in their own words, improve the overall financial health of European club football. FFP's main objective is to prevent clubs from spending more than they earn in revenues. It also aims to prevent clubs from getting into financial trouble that could affect their long-term survival, and the punishments for failing to abide by such laws are severe. Such rules include a cap on spending in relation to a club's revenue including outgoing transfers but not TV revenue or gate receipts, allowing all football clubs to spend no more than £3.9 million over what they earn in each 3-year assessment period. A new limit of €30 million has however been introduced, down from £40 million, if the owners of the club or a related party can cover the difference. So, with their latest astronomical spending so obvious for all to see, how have they done it? Ever heard of amortization? No, me neither, until now. Amortization is the spreading of payments across a long period of time. In this case, the transfer fees that Chelsea are shelling out to lure in this top talent. The eagle-eyed among you will have noticed the length of contract that some of these players have been tied down to, most notably that of Mykhailo Mudryk, whose contract is a massive 8 years, with payments to Shakhtar Donetsk spread out over a long period, expiring in the year 2031. This means that the cost of this transfer is spread out over such a long period of time that the yearly cost is relatively little and means Chelsea stay within the FFP guidelines. Essentially, Chelsea's legal team have found a gaping loophole in the FFP system and have exploited it to the maximum of its capabilities. UEFA have already set about counteracting this loophole, however, declaring that from this summer onwards, clubs will only be allowed to spread transfer fees over 5 years going forward, meaning Chelsea's feat of this season won't be repeatable in the future. Chelsea's strategy is a bold one. Even though the complication of financial fair play seems to have been navigated, at least for now, it isn't without risks. If transfers turn out to be below the quality expected, then Chelsea will be stuck with substandard players on high wages for a long period of time. They'll need Mudryk, for example, to be a hit. Also, if they fail to qualify for the Champions League at any point, a scenario that looks increasingly likely this season, then the expected revenue that will come in next season will decrease significantly, making payments for wages and transfer fees harder to make, as well as top talent harder to attract in the future. Chelsea aren't the only Premier League side to be embroiled in finance-related news in recent weeks, with news of Manchester City's FA charge for financial irregularities making the headlines. As of yet, it's unclear what this may mean for City and their future, but the financial net is closing in on the Premier League's top clubs. Do you think they'll be able to regain a spot in the Champions League following all of this spending? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Football Reality so you're ready for our next video.